So let's head into our terminal here, and in here we want to create a new like controller. So in this controller, we're gonna call this home controller. As you can see at the moment, if you just close down the filament one here, we only have the controller class there. To make this invocable, and let's head into web.php. Inside web.php, I want to essentially pass everything through inside the home controller instead. So let's go in and make sure we use the home controller, import the class. Perfect. And then in here, all I want to do really is I want to return inertia render courses. And then we want to create a resource in here, which is called course resource. For now, I'm just going to put this as empty. So let's just make a resource here. So what we can do in here is we can say course resource import, and we can then import a model here. And then we can essentially just head into our course resource and pass through the relevant data we need. So I want to pass through in here an ID, the title of the course, and the slug as well. We also want to have the duration. And we want to have the description. And then we want to have the meta description as well. So with that sorted now, we're now able to actually read all of this data, which we can then read inside our home page. So let's head in here. I'm going to go in and also make sure that I just reload npm run dev. All right, so now we are in here. We should actually be able to go into our home page in the view app and basically define the props. So what we're essentially doing here is we're allowing the courses property that we are passing through the home controller here to be read by our application, and we can then use the data in here. So I want this to be a type array, and I want this to be required. And then we also want to head into our app service provider, just making sure inside the boot method that we have JSON resource without wrapping. This is essentially going to allow us to have less wrapping around our data, so we don't have to do data when you're getting the response, which is just convenient. So with that sorted, let's head it back into our home.view page. And in here, I'm just going to print out before the card. I'm just going to print out courses here and see what we get. You can see we are getting the course through, which is perfect. So if we now go ahead in here, we can then say with the card v4 course in courses. And we want to have a key in here, say course.id. Yeah. And we also want to have an image in here, which in this case would be course. And in here, we need to actually make sure we can pass through the image as well in the course resource, because at the moment we're not doing that. So if we head back into our course resource, what we need as well, on top of everything else, is we need an excerpt, which is going to be just str words and then strip tags off. And then we're going to have the media. The media we're going to get by essentially creating a media resource. So for now, I'm going to leave this as an empty string, and I'm going to go in and create a media resource. So the resources we have created has all been created inside this resources folder. Inside the media resource now, we can essentially go ahead and leave it as it is if you want to, or you can pass through more information. It's really up to you. At the moment, I'm going to leave it as it is just for simplicity. So all I want to do is really just say media resource, make this image, and now I want to grab the first image. Inside the course model, we want to make sure that we have the image properties set here, and that should just be set to belongs to. Outside of that, that should really be all we need in here now for our homepage. So let's go ahead and see what the value would be if I went in and just printed out courses again. And for the media bit, we got it there, which is perfect. So we could essentially decide later on to reduce the amount of content we get in here, because this is quite a lot of information. We don't need all of this, but for now, I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure that we have the course image in. So let's make sure inside course.media.path is where we want to get the image from. Then we want to have image alt text, which is going to be course.media.alt. And then later on, we're going to add in a link for the user to get into as well. So you can see now that we're actually able to view the image here. So what we can do as well is we can obviously replace the title here to be course.title. And I always like to make sure that we have the operators, null safe operators in here in place. So by doing this, we just make sure that it is less likely to break upon loading the application. So I'm going to go in also and make sure that we have a bit longer course description. So I'm just going to get in some lorem ipsum text here and just copy it. Just to have some longer description. And then let's go down and actually put in the description. And you can see this works fine. And we also now have in here all the information here. There is some spacing in here, which we kind of want to get rid of here. So let's just do that. And there we go. This doesn't look perfect at the moment, obviously, and it looks a bit strange, but that's all for this video. So thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.